Welcome back to another episode of The Lowdown. Today's guest is Josh McEachron. He and his wife have built one of the most amazing, unique, and magical Airbnb experiences that I've had the pleasure of staying at. This was a shipping container that's up in Pioneer, California. It's extremely luxurious. Imagine a shipping container with a huge sunroom. It's got a retractable 50-foot sliding glass doors, sauna, cold plunge showers. It's got hot tubs outside. It's got everything you need. So if you're like me and you're looking to be in nature and also have those 5-star resort amenities, this is your place to be. So Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So Josh, I'm just kind of curious, did I miss anything for the description? Is there anything else that you would use to describe the property?
No, you did a pretty good job. I think that's kind of what we went for. We went for a real high-end, luxurious space, but it's so condensed and small that it kind of doesn't feel small, doesn't feel condensed. It feels luxurious, like you said. So I think you hit it right on the head. Yeah, for
Awesome.
sure.
So what was the inspiration behind the shipping container, and why a shipping container in the first place?
Well, so right now I'm actually broadcasting here from another shipping container at my main house, and it was kind of at that time, this container was, I needed a shop for I have another business that I run, a glass company. And at the time I needed more storage. I needed an office, and the most cost-effective way to achieve that with the least building permits and the least footprint on the land in case I ever wanted to move and put a single family dwelling on this piece of property was to use a shipping container. We built this one out, and people, clients, customers, people come, they can't get enough of it. They think it's fantastic. So kind of just made my mind go, hey, this is a viable option, not necessarily from the ease of use or what most people think of when they see a shipping container. They think, oh, this is going to be less expensive because it's already built and all we got to do is cut some windows and doors. But I've been building for my entire life in construction and residential stick frame, pretty much everything we live in. And it's actually not cheaper to use a shipping container. It's actually more expensive because cutting metal, welding metal, fabricating with metal is time consuming. It's a lot different than just being able to go down, grab some 2x4 and, build something that way. So anyway, that was kind of the inspiration. And so when we went up there to that piece of property, it was the same kind of a thing. Like, what's the least expensive way to do something? And honestly, when we started up there and we started building up there, there was no Airbnb in mind. There was no investment property or getting into the short-term space. It was kind of, I was putting the shipping container you stayed in was just going to be very similar to my office here. It was going to be for storage of tools, a little space to have an office and be able to work remotely up there in the mountains with that view and kind of do some of the everyday stuff that I'm doing here in this office up there. So that's how it all started. So I just brought the shipping container in up there, and the property was on the side of a mountain, so it was very, very small area I had to work with. And so we just put that container there, and it evolved into what you stayed at and into that space, totally organically, totally free of any type of constraint or master plan or master building or anything that was what you see. So it was just kind of a really organic experience. So I'm not a shipping container, connoisseur or, builder of them at all. It just happened, and it just was great. One thing led to another. So that's how it started. It was literally just going to be a storage container.
And when did the idea to run it as an Airbnb actually come into mind? Did you start construction and then were first just literally just trying to do it as an office?
Yeah.
Or were you, okay. And then when did this progression happen? When did this idea click that, I need to do an Airbnb here?
Yeah. So I was spending a lot of time up there working on this office, and it literally was like, I just started to go up there and take pictures and just start sketching things up on my iPad. And I just all of a sudden was like, oh, I'm going to put a bedroom in here. Maybe I can stay up here. Maybe I can sleep up here. And then probably 3 months into just kind of thinking about it and starting to do different things, it just turned into a full blown, okay, I'm gonna build a shipping container tiny house. And the sunroom you spoke of was, I have pictures of it where I had parked my car next to the shipping container, and it was just going to be an overhang to keep my car out of the sun. It wasn't what it turned out to be. And it was just, like I said, one thing led to another. And then probably 4 months into it, the idea started cooking. And it still, honestly, at that point, wasn't short-term rental at all. It was space for my family, for me to get away. I was, because I was using so many products that I sell, as far as the big sliding doors, the shower, the mirrors, the windows, all of that stuff is the trade that I am in. And so I was also thinking possibly that this could be a showroom for my business. So I'll bring clients up, give them a proposal for their house, and at the same time say, hey, here's this window and here's what the product looks like, touch it, feel it. And then I ended up getting it completely finalized. Everything out there, that you saw is a story. It felt like magic. I used to come home all the time to my wife and say, you just won't believe what happened that led me to this, or just all of the little nuances of building that transpired to get to where we were. It was just a quick story was the sauna. I had been looking at these saunas. They're quite expensive. And I'm just like, man, I don't want to buy a brand new sauna for this place. I didn't really have any intention of it, but maybe using it. My wife and I are into health and, that type of stuff. And so I'm looking for saunas. And then all of a sudden I open up Marketplace one day, and this guy's got a sauna for sale, still in the box, right down the street from the Airbnb, and for half the cost. So I call him, I go, hey, I want to go out there. Come to find out, his brother had it shipped to his house to sell, who won it on The Price is Right. So it was just like, oh my God, you can't even make this stuff up. So we picked it up for half the cost, assembled it, and did all that. But that whole place and that whole process was one magical moment after another to arrive at this. And so that's kind of the story of how it all kind of came. And I had finished it. I got it probably 95 to 98% of the way. And I let my cousin, who he's in digital arts and photography and videography, him and his girlfriend, they're in Chico. I had him come up and I said, hey, just stay the weekend, take some pictures, take some video, do some drone footage, and tell me what you think. And he goes, oh, okay, sure. And so they came up, and they were supposed to come visit and stay at my house and stay there for a night. They didn't want to leave. They're like, hey, we're just going to stay here the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, cool. That's good feedback, right? He had great things to say about it. And so then we came home, and then it happened to be my 50th birthday. And so I kind of squirreled away an entire week to go up there by myself and turn off Wi-Fi, turn off all connection. I told my wife I would keep my watch on just in case she needed to get a hold of me. But I said, I'm not going to be checking my phone. I'm not checking iPads, not watching TV, no music, no nothing. Just a submersive moment of peace was what I was searching for, right? And so I spent, the days there. It was crazy. I don't know if you've ever tried to do that, but it's very interesting when you shut the world out for a little while, and what comes up in your brain and what comes up in your mind and the things that we think about. And so I spent that week doing that, and I got home and I told my wife, I'm like, and at that point, my cousin had sent me a bunch of the pictures and the footages that him and his girlfriend took while they were there. And so I told my wife, I'm like, put it on Airbnb. Just take the pictures, put it on. And we put it on, I don't know, maybe on a Friday. And by the following Friday, the whole month was booked and booking out the following. And we had a little panic attack, because we didn't know Airbnb. We weren't investigated in it. We didn't know what it was. All we saw was that, oh my God, we got to go up there, clean this place, change the bedding. And we had, at that point, we had it set up for one night stays, and people were just coming for one night. And so it's like you literally clean, then you're there the next day cleaning, and the next day. And it turned into just like, oh my God, we got another full grown business here.
Yep.
And so that's how it all started. I mean, people think, even the neighbors would come around while we were working and say, hey, what are you guys building over here? What are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm just building like a man cave for myself. My family will be able to go up here. And then it turns into an Airbnb, and they, what, you guys were planning this the whole time. And I'm like, we weren't. I was honest with you. This didn't, this was, we just kind of fell into this. This wasn't something we had even thought about,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
So
That's one thing I've come to realize, and I'm noticing from a lot of people who have success in unique stays, experiential stays like this. It's they're putting so much focus on just the craftsmanship and love of building it, and it's before doing any kind of analytics. Because a lot of times when people are running these analytics, they're comparing like, how would I build this shipping container? How would it actually perform in this market? I think a lot of people would, if they did all that beforehand, they may have spooked themselves and never have done it. And so I think a lot of the most successful people I see who have these stays really just kind of have this passion first, and then everything else comes after. And it's very apparent that came from you.
exactly. That was summing up perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. Were there ever any analytical moments when you're building it or permitting it?
Yeah, no. I mean, since this one's been built, we've talked about doing another one, but like you said, like this was a pure passion project for me. Like my wife came out when it was finished, and she was kind of like, is this what your mind looks like on the inside? And I'm like, yeah, actually it does. This is like my ideal space, and how life, I feel, is can be lived without the noise of so much and all the consumerism that we're all a part of. And this is a way to like literally like live a very organic and wholesome life without all of this. I mean, the property I'm at here it's a lot, it's acres, and it's so much work, and it consumes me. And so when I go up there, and it's just this small footprint, it's just a small amount of stuff, and it just feels very wholesome and very easy on your mind to live that way. But analytically, no, I didn't have any moments like, oh, I shouldn't spend $5,000 on this shower glass because I'm never going to get my money out of it. It was just like, what would I do here? I'm a glass guy. What's going to look good? So I opted for the gray glass, which is one of the most expensive glasses. I opted for all of the things that I wanted, and I didn't run it through an ROI or a cost analysis. I just was like, what do I want to see here? What do I want to shower in? What will make me feel like uh, good inside when I look at it and when I use it? And that's how pretty much every decision about that place was made. It was like, what do I want to see? What do I want to feel? How do I want to use this space?
Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt when I was up there. I was like, every design decision, for the furniture to the materials, everything was very curated, and it was incredible. So I really commend you on doing it.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So I would love to learn about the actual building process itself, because California is extremely challenging when it comes to entitlements, permitting, all that stuff, especially once you get into more landscape areas. So can you talk about how long it actually took to do the whole process, any issues you came up with maybe with permitting or anything, like how you identified the land, etc.?
So this is another interesting story. And my wife will probably not like me sharing it just because she knows how I am. And so as far as acquiring the land, we have always been looking, we were always looking for a piece of land in the forest. We always just wanted a cabin in the woods. I always did. It was something as a young child, like, I struggled with stress and anxiety and mental health for a lot of my life. And I just always had a kind of like I don't know how to exactly explain it, but it was an ideation that if I just had a small life and a cabin in the woods and I chopped my own firewood and I grew my own food, and it's not unique to me. A lot of people have this type of a uh, kind of a thing that they would like to see with their life, and it would just erase all the stress. And so I was always looking for that piece of property or that land or that cabin that would satisfy that craving inside of me. And so we looked at many properties over the years. Nothing came to pass. This particular piece of property had been for sale for 30 years.
Wow.
And nobody wanted it. It was an overgrown side of a mountain, just horrible for a single family dwelling to raise a family to, just wasn't, and nobody wanted it. And I went out there and walked it. And my brain was like, why doesn't anybody want this? I want it right now, and we went and paid a full price offer for it. It wasn't a lot of money. Like I said, it had been for sale for 30 years. Nobody wanted it. So it was a value. In my mind, it was a great value.
Mm-hmm.
And so we purchased it, and that's how the process of getting the land happened. And there was a ton of work that needed to be done to make the land, tree trimming and grading and all that stuff. But that's how the land acquisition came to pass.
How big was the property and how much did you get it for?
It was 3 acres and it was $60,000.
Okay.
So it wasn't a super expensive deal, but that was because it's very unusable land from start to finish. It's straight down a valley, a canyon into the river down at the bottom. But for what I wanted it for, and also one of the things that appealed to me about the property was that right at the bottom of our property is a 400-acre parcel of BLM land, which is government owned, taxpayer usable. I can hunt, ride my motorcycles, ride horseback, fish, mine, do whatever I wanted down there, which to me felt like my property. So I have direct access to it. So it felt like, yeah, I got this, but I can go out into this land and there's trails and roads and things like that to get around. So that was at 60,000 for 3 acres, but that was another big plus to the property.
Okay. And then how did that actual planning and permitting go as far as building the shipping container?
So I'm not a big ask for permission guy. I am definitely asked for forgiveness.
Yes.
And knowing what I know about California and the building process and engineers and engineering, it's just an uphill battle if you ask. And I knew that going into it. And so I was off the beaten path. I didn't think anybody was ever going to see it. I was working with all my local contractors and my buddies, and nobody really expected any problems with it. And so I just did it because I am a builder. I'm a licensed contractor, a general building contractor. I know how to build things. It's all built to code. Used licensed electricians, plumbers, concrete guys, did everything, documented it all in case there was an issue. But I didn't ask. I just did it.
Okay.
And so I do now have plans drawn, engineering, all of that. I had to retroactively go back and get all of that done. But in the process, it was just what I thought I built, what I thought I built, what I thought I built. I didn't have no inspections. I didn't have any permission. It was definitely not the right way to do it, but it's the way I did it. And so as far as that was concerned, so the final story on permitting and what ended up happening was we listed it on Airbnb and it took off, and someone down at our local building department saw the listing and said, this is very unique to our community. Nobody has one of these. We definitely have not permitted one of these.
Mm-hmm.
And they just did the research to track it down, figured it out, sent me a letter. My letter's right here that basically says, you are in noncompliance. We need you to contact us and bring this up to code. Okay. So they were great to work with. I just basically called them and said, hey, I want to bring my project up to compliance. What do I need to do? They gave me a list of things: engineering, Title 24, full set of plans, electrical plans, grading plan, basically all the stuff that I would have had to do anyway. $25,000 check in permit fees. And we brought it up, had our inspections, and got through that hurdle of not having a permitted building to start with. But yeah, it worked out in the end. It's all permitted now. Everything's good to go and no issues at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if someone
Yeah.
wasn't a builder, didn't know the lays of the land, how to do everything to code, and I was trying to do this myself, how long should someone anticipate giving themselves for the timeline for the normal permitting and everything?
In my county, it's very rural and it's one of the better counties. They're very slow in the office right now. So, I mean, it really is case by case, county by county. In the Bay Area, it's probably going to be a 2-year process before you deliver your shipping container.
Hmm.
If where I'm at, I could probably have a set of approved plans and a permit within 2 to 3 months.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad at all. But that's exclusive to Amador County, and every county is a little bit different.
Yeah. Okay.
So definitely, step one, if you're thinking of doing this and you want to go down this road, is to go just down to the local building department, to the planning department, sit down with them and say, hey, here's what I want to do. Here's the picture of what I want to do. What's going to be the pushback, and expect it right out of the bat. Shipping containers are a self-engineered box. But the second that you cut a window into it or a door into it, that engineering is gone. And now it's completely unengineered as it was designed. So now you have to get an engineer to come in, and finding an engineer, first of all, that is willing to take on something like this, because they have a license and they have a stamp and they have to sign off on something, and their license is on the line.
Hmm.
And so welds, cuts, structure is time consuming for them to figure all of that out. So they would rather just say no. I've seen a lot of shipping builds online, not in California, where they basically make the person come inside of the metal structure, frame a 2x4 system, as if as if the shipping container didn't even exist, and it becomes just siding or cladding on the outside. And I just think that's a terrible injustice to metal and to the engineering of this box as it already is. But if you don't know, you can get in trouble if you cut too big of openings. It just won't sustain it. It won't support itself. So it's very, you just got to use a lot of common sense to do it, and work with an engineer that has common sense and is willing to support your dream and your vision and help you achieve that goal. But um, it's not, it's not, expect some sort of a pushback
Yeah.
on your design.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear that everything went well as far as getting everything retrofitted and getting all those permits
Yeah.
quickly for you. What was the total build time for start to finish between doing
I
all the
think it took me
grading to the
about a
land,
year.
doing the
Yeah.
grading to the land, cutting down the trees, start to finish? What was the total time?
Yeah, I'd say it was about a year. It took
Okay.
about a year to do it. With what I know now, with my plans, with everything that I've already built, if I had to rebuild that same exact structure, I would probably do it. I bet I could finish it in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, start to finish. Yeah. So this was a year that was just me going up there for a few hours here, and all the guys that helped me worked on the weekends. So it wasn't something that we prioritized. It was just, when you can get up there, let's go.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. And how's the regulation up there as far as like short-term rentals and all that stuff? Are they pretty restrictive? Are they open? Do they have a cap on the number of houses that can have licenses for short-term rentals?
They don't currently. I'm in the unincorporated county, so I'm not in the city. The city has some higher stringence. The only thing the tax, they want their taxes,
Yeah.
of course, that's directly extracted from Airbnb, sent directly to them. So they just get that. But there hasn't been any real, um, there was some meetings where people wanted to, to get some more regulation on them, but they wanted it more in subdivisions who were taking single family dwellings away from other families who wanted to move into the area. They weren't so much unique stays out in the middle of the forest where it didn't really support each single family dwelling anyway. So we don't have much. we don't have much against short-term rentals at this time.
Yeah. It's good to know. Good to know.
Yeah,
So I'd love to talk about the financials if you're okay with it. I would
sure.
love to learn how much it costs to actually build this thing. Because, I mean, you said yourself that the shipping containers, everyone thinks is cheap, but it's more expensive. So I would love to
Right.
learn how much it costs for the whole project.
So a lot of the cost of it was not labor. These are not including labor, because labor, I did pretty much touched everything, built everything myself. I mean, I
Hmm.
did have some things here and there, but I think full, just the container, the concrete, all of the appliances and the glass and all of that, I think it was probably about 110,000. Um, and that didn't include the permits and the land costs and things like that, the septic system, PG&E, which wasn't very expensive, but was an added cost. But yeah, that would be just the. But I think I could get that price down quite a bit.
Hmm.
Uh, Again, if I did it again, just because I know what what I'm after now, and but it is a lot of money when you consider the square foot of what you have and what it is. But I mean, I think it's reasonable. I mean, imagine in California, if you had a total purchase price of 200,000, including land and permits and all of that, and you got that, and
Yeah.
that became your, you didn't have 5 kids or anything like that, but you and single guy or a retired couple, or a boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, I would live in luxury up there,
Yeah.
And so for 200,000 in California to own, and that would be owned, that would be your all-in price.
Yeah.
Got property taxes after that a year, but to keep it hot and cold and yeah, it would be a really interesting way to do life, I think.
Yeah. I would take that all day. I would have a family compound, have five of those shipping containers, would all live there together, and
Yep,
that'd be perfect.
it would. Yeah, and it definitely would stick it to the consumerist mindset,
Hmm.
So I think that would be a worthwhile do. So that was it. So about 100,000,
Okay.
110,000 to build it.
Okay. Did you use any kind of SBA financing or anything like this, or did you kind of just paid everything kind of cash as it went?
Yeah, we used cash, personal cash from the other business, stuff that we had stored up to make this thing happen. So we didn't have to get any loans or anything like that, which, probably problematic,
Hmm.
seeing as it's a shipping container, and I don't know how the financing would go to
Hmm.
get that up front. So that was something unique to us, that we were able to finance that from the get go. But, in a year's time, it was smaller increments of cash that had to go out. It wasn't like just all of a sudden we had to pay a contractor a large sum of money to make this dream a reality. It
Hmm.
was, well, we can afford now to do the roof, or we can afford now to do the glass, or.
Yeah. Well,
So
it turned out incredible. So
thank you.
you get this thing finished. You open it on a Friday. It's booked out for a month. Can you talk about
Hmm.
more about how it's performed? What's the occupancy been since it's opened? How much you've been grossing from it? I would love to learn everything about that.
Sure. So it's pretty much stayed booked since we've done it. I think we started in August of 24. So we went to August, so 25. So probably about a year and a half now. We had to take, I think, about a month to a month and a half off for the county asked us to take it off Airbnb while we got it up to permitted.
Hmm.
So that took about a month and a half. So we sat idle during that time. And then other than that, it's very rare for us to have a week that someone's not there. Very rare. So I don't know what the occupancy number is, so so to speak, but we're booked almost every month. I would say probably 12 to 18 stays a month
Okay.
would probably be where we're at, depending. 2 nights, some people stay. We got people there right now who are there for a week. um, we've had primarily it's a 2 night deal. Most people come for 2 nights,
Hmm.
and it's been amazing who comes.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, you do something like this, and none of your friends and family really go. Nobody cares, oh, Josh just did some weird shipping container thing, right? So none of your friends or family are interested. I don't think we've had a single person from within 30 miles of, like in the county stay there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all been people from the Bay Area. We had people drive from Vegas about a week ago. We've had people come from Colorado. We've had people from New Zealand, from Switzerland, all over.
Mm-hmm.
The internet opens up this giant marketplace, and so people, I don't know how they find it. Honeymoons, anniversaries, birthdays, kids' first birthdays. It's just, when my wife and I are always like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? It's interesting. But so we stay very, very booked, and it does it averages about 7,000 a month is
Okay.
what it does after we pay the cleaning people, and after the Airbnb takes their taxes and fees out of it.
Yeah.
So I think the first full year was $86,000 or something like that in
Yeah.
income on it.
And you said that was net to you after paying all the cleaners and everything.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing on a
It really
$200,000
is
property.
surprising. So it really is surprising to us. Like we had no idea, and we still get to use it when we want. I still go up there on my birthdays, and my wife does a lot of girls' nights trips up there. And as you probably experienced, it was very much intentionalized to bring intimacy. Like, the kitchen is small. It's
Mm-hmm.
designed to cook together. It's designed to just focus on the meal, the preparation, and then the eating, the enjoyment of the coffee in the morning, and the view out the back and down into the canyon, and the birds. And it's just such an intimate place. Like, you can't not be intimate with the person you're there with,
Mm-hmm.
because it's built for two people. And so it's not like you can go there and get drunk and have have a party and not, you're stuck with that person you came with, and it just brings intimacy and connection. And we hear it all the time in our guest book, on the reviews. People just like, I was so burned out, my job, my life, everything was just crushing me. Went up there for 2 nights, and I feel reset. We never came home from a vacation so unified and feeling good. So I think that's kind of the magic that draws people. It's that same thing that drew me to build it. That cabin in the woods, that release of that stress, that getaway, live small. They're experiencing that. And so I think that's a testament to the design and just to the area and all of the stuff that happens when you get out in nature, And so but yeah, about 86,000 that a year. It goes up, because it's got that dynamic pricing built into it.
Mm-hmm.
So as the reviews come in, as the occupancy grows and all of those things, it pushes that price up a little more. I mean, it's not why we're doing it, but so as the economy teeters up and the algorithm switches in our favor, it continues to get a little $5 here more a night. Some nights, 4th of July, certain holiday weekends, the algorithm knows, and it, charges more for those nights.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to continue to crush. I mean, when I was up
Yeah.
there, I felt exactly everything that you described. My
Yeah.
wife and I, we went up there and had no intentions of being on our phones, on our laptops. We even just got takeout food, and we just ate everything at the shipping container because it was just so peaceful, sitting on that leather couch in the day room, looking out into the landscaping was just the most peaceful thing. We had our dog, and it was, everything we wanted and more. So yeah, you did an incredible job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad you got to go there.
Definitely will be back. Any future plans? Do you want to continue doing this? Do you want to make maybe a micro resort with the shipping containers? Do you have any plans for the future for this?
So where that particular property was, back to the very original, that was going to be the kind of the shop, right? Where they store the tools and stuff. And then if you go down the cul-de-sac, there's actually another road cut into the mountainside that goes to a lower road. And down there was going to be an actual house, like a 1,200 square foot full basement, modern design, still kind of built for two, but a little bit of bonus room area for children if they wanted to come. So that was kind of, the shipping container was an accident. That was just supposed to be the shop for the house below. And so when that took off, we kind of pushed pause on the house below, just because we had our hands full with the shipping container project. And so now that that's kind of operating well, it's running itself, we're kind of starting to think more about that lower road and what we're going to do. And so we've been starting to spend some money on work down there and kind of deciding what we're going to do. I don't know that, because the idea of building the house is already designed and engineered and ready to go for the lower road. And so but I had anticipated that my wife and I would be moving out there for retirement. And she's kind of like, I don't really want to do that. So I don't want to build that for the purpose of us retiring out there, because it's not great. So we've kind of switched categories, switched gears a little bit and said, well, maybe we do another short-term rental down there, not designed to live in full time, but more just exactly like the upper one. So we're kicking that around right now, whether or not we want to do another shipping container build, whether we want to do just some other unique structure or something like that to bring more people in. One of the things that is always in the conversation when we do it is, do we want to take away from the experience in the other one since it's doing so well? Do we want two different people on the same property? 3 acres is big, but it's not that big when you're in a canyon. Well, you're hearing their music while you're up there trying to drink your coffee. Well, the dog barking and we don't want to impact what's going on up there by thinking of investment down there. But we don't know. Check back with me in a year. We're out there right now, working on the road and the thing down, but no concrete plans yet.
Okay.
But that's just how it is with me anyway.
Yeah. Maybe you can identify another property, maybe close there, maybe an hour away, that has more commercial entitlements, so you can build a few of them. I could see you having a lot of success doing that.
Yeah. We do look quite regularly for land for what we call, because we call that place Pine Ridge, because that's the road that it's on. We always talk about Pine Ridge too. Are we going to go do this again somewhere else? But, as you'll know, your investment, you're in that world. A lot of times you can take something in our lives that we enjoy and we try to monetize it. And then therefore that particular thing becomes a job and it becomes something you don't no longer enjoy. And so this is still so enjoyable. Like, we love to go up there, read what guests have wrote, love to get the reviews. And sometimes that thing in me knows that if I try to duplicate this somewhere else, that now all of a sudden because that one won't probably be able to be paid for the way this one was. So now we'll have a lien holder on that one. We'll have someone that owns it until we pay it off, which would be probably pretty quick. But still, it's like, do I want to take something that feels so like interpersonal and make it about more money, And so it could happen. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That's the American way, right? It's what we all want to do. But I don't know that I want to give up something to gain more monetary entitlements. I don't know. I don't know. It could happen. But things seem smooth right now. I think that I'm kind of happy with it right now. But
that's great.
Yeah.
So if you were to start again from zero, if you were new, looking to get into Airbnb or unique stays, what's your biggest piece of advice that you'd give to someone who's looking to get into this space?
Okay, so we love Airbnbs. We stay in them all the time. We never use them. This is just personally, we don't use them as a cheaper option than a hotel or a cheaper option than an apartment or anything like that. They're always like, what does the property and the structure bring to my eye? And so that we can go there and do what you guys did. Turn off the devices, cook together, stay together, and be excited. We stayed at one on the coast recently that was just like, we didn't want to leave. And that's, so what I tell people is, if you're just getting into the space for like money, just pure money, like I got to get a short-term rental and it's just a single family dwelling in the middle of a neighborhood and it looks like every other house or every other structure, you got nothing, and you just think that that's going to bring the people in, It may, but it's what I believe is that people want something a little bit special,
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're going to get into the space, look at the property you're thinking about buying and think about how you can make that intimate, cozy, special, unique. And if you can do that, because I'm on, like on Reddit, like on the Airbnb Reddit page, people are constantly saying, "Hey, nobody's booking my stuff," and then they say, "Hey, show us your listing," and it's just a house, it's
Yeah.
just a house in a neighborhood, and they wonder why no one's booking it. I'm like, well, you will find them because some people are looking, they need a place to stay for a month while their house is being built or they had fire damage and they need a place to go. So it will get booked. But if you're looking to get into the space and have a highly booked property and a desired property and have an experience in hosting as well as a good ROI, I think you just need to make your space special.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what sets it apart, and that's really what the thing is. So look for that, look for a unique property. And my other advice would be, and I don't have experience in the other direction where there's a house with 5 bedrooms and it's a big party house and a pool and all of that. I just have experience with what I have. But I would say that, like, if you're wanting a less hassle and a better return on your investment, try to tailor it to couples getting away. Their dog is okay, maybe a baby, but don't try to do, because a lot of it is cleaning it too. I mean, if you have a 1,800, 2,000, 2,500 square foot house, 5 bedrooms, I mean, that's 5 sets of sheets, 5 blankets, comforters, pillowcases, vacuums, bathrooms to clean. I mean, it's a big deal. So if you can get something small and kind of position it as an intimate couple's getaway, I think it's a home run. It was for us.
Yeah.
Unintentionally. And so that would be my only advice if you're looking to get into the space. Don't get into it just to try to beat, a long-term rental ROI.
Yeah.
Try to get into it to make it special, what you like to see, what you like to feel when you go away. And I think you'll have a recipe for, success.
Yeah, that's so good. That's exactly the kind of experience that I want to curate whenever I build my own micro resort
Yeah.
or hotel. I mean, I'm trying to cater to this exact avatar of myself, trying to find somewhere intimate, romantic with my wife, somewhere we can escape and just refill our cup. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I love everything that you're doing, Josh. This has been incredible. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your time. If
You
people
got
want to
it,
get a
man.
hold of you, learn more about the shipping container, where can they do so?
So Airbnb, just search Pioneer, and I would recommend you search 3 months out from the current date so that it shows up, because if it's booked, it doesn't show up. And you'll find us. We'll probably be the number one Airbnb if you look in Pioneer, California, or always reach out. We're on Instagram under RidgeViewStay. If you type in RidgeViewStay in Instagram, you'll find us that way as well. And you can send us a direct message. Keep an eye on the property and what it's doing. We're not real active on there, but that's one way to get a hold of us. And or you can always email me at joshmce@me.com. And we'll get back to you and help you in any way we can.
Awesome. Well, everyone, I hope you guys found value from today's episode. If you're looking to get into nature, refill your cup, re-energize, find somewhere to reconnect with your partner, or just escape, this is a place you have to go. So Josh, thank you again. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for listening in. Share it with families, share it with friends, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.
See ya.